Alright, in this video we're going to talk about the current state of the market with our cap and ball revolvers. And like I said in the prior video, the thing about them was, and what kind of makes them interesting, is really they were never, kind of hard to say but thinking back, they weren't that expensive of a firearm. Okay, granted, they were an old, outmoded weapon and a replica, but you know, with them being not considered like a modern firearm, being an antique and without any restrictions, and they are made out of steel and wood and brass, and they're fairly nice. They weren't that expensive, and that kind of the price point is kind of why people, as a novelty, would buy one of these. They weren't very expensive weapons. The more common ones that you find, be it the Colts or the Remingtons, you know, they're not that bad. Yes, some of the other models, some of the other styles were a bit pricey, always have been. But in general, a Colt revolver or something was not that, wouldn't break the bank getting one. Okay, put it to you that way. So I've gotten several questions from people, especially like the secondhand market. And I'll talk a little bit about these guns being used, okay, which is a whole different story. And then I also made the video a few months ago that when I got the idea, hey, you know, let's get into black powder, let me go see if I can rummage around and see what was in stock, and there seemed to be a shortage. And then not only that, the price of used guns has skyrocketed also. Okay, so what it is this current situation, both politically and with the economy and the whole global thing in the pandemic, has changed everything. Okay, and you know, like I said before, let's get away from the stuff that the crazy prices and get into something kind of harmless like black powder, and then come to find out that this situation has gotten to where it's even affected something like this. And there's a couple reasons why. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera, we're going to look at a few guns, and I'm going to tell you what the going price rate is on them, and explain to you how I got the ones in my collection and what I paid for them. And some of them I've had since the early 1990s. Okay. Alright, here we have a grouping of guns on the table. And like I said, some of these I've had a while, and some of these I have just recently purchased, like this one arrived just a few days ago, this 1861. So, price-wise, and this is just off the top of my head, it's not exact. Right now, if you're looking for a gun, I guess the best place to go is Dixie Gun Works and see what price they have there. Now we'll use the Walker as because this is one I bought recently also. We'll use the Walker. Dixie Gun Works had these listed about $4.25, $4.30, and then when they got a new shipment, the price jumped up. Dixie Gun Works sells these for $475. Same with the Dragoons. They're about $470, $475. Okay. Now, when you're looking for these, you can find them, like if Midway had them in stock, like they had a sale on these and they were substantially less when they cleaned out their inventory. Now, what's complicated is there's two factors here. Number one, Italy has been shut down with the pandemic and their factories have not been producing stuff. Henceforth, no material coming onto the market. So, throw that in with the fact, with the current panic, crisis, and political situation, these weapons, first of all, in most places, can be bought without any background paperwork or anything. It's sent in the mail. You can also, for a price, buy a cylinder where you remove the black powder cylinder and convert this gun to where it can fire a cartridge. Basically, a firearm that may not be like a modern revolver because you'd have to pull the cylinder out to reload it, but for someone who doesn't have a handgun and can't get one, it's a viable option. So henceforth, not only has the supply been cut off, but the demand has gone up in these strange times. Okay, and that's basically for all these common guns, like the 1860, the 1851. The Walker, you can get a conversion for 45 Colt. The 51s would be like a 38 of some sort. The 40 calibers, 45 Colt again. And also for, there's conversion cylinders for just about all of these guns on here, even a 32 long for this little 31, okay? So that's kind of thrown the demand off to an unusual level, all right? And if you're looking at the Walker or the Dragoons, Dixie has them about 4. You're looking at $500. Okay, now if you go on the gun broker, and before you all go nuts, there are some of the wholesale Hunter and LG Outdoors are wholesalers, and it's kind of like whatever comes in, and you'll see they'll have something up there with a buy it now price. They have like the first model Dragoons. Actually, if I wasn't strapped for cash, I'd order one at like $421, $425, and you'll see other people have them up there at Dixie's price, $470, and some even more. So you got to kind of look around and understand what the going rate is. Okay, that's the difficulty in this. Now the more common ones, like this 1851, they still go. They're up there close to $400. Okay. I really don't know if they came in, they're in the, they'd be under 400 if you get one of the wholesalers selling them, like 380 or something, but still the price has gone up. And if they do come into stock, the price is going to go up, okay? What I had to get for this 1861 was, this gun was made a year ago, new in the box, never fired. And it's kind of unusual, I'll do a video on it. But I wanted one of these 1861s. And this is an Uberti that has the correct barrel length. Unlike the Piettas, which basically they take an 1860 with the longer barrel. You can see where the lever goes up there. And this barrel is about a ½ inch longer. Okay, the Piettas take an 1860 and just make it in 36 more or less, and they call it an 1861. Some people say it throws the balance of the gun off, but I wanted an Uberti, so I had to pay. And actually, after shipping and handling, sales tax, which everyone gets hit with sales tax now, that was an extra in there, comes out to about 4.5. These 31's another one. I guess a batch of the earlier ones. I think this is the 49 with the lever. The 48s without the loading lever are in. You can find them. And I think Midway has them too. The exact price on that. It's 300 and something, which is fairly reasonable considering some places have these listed new for over 400. Okay. So the new guns, yes, you're going to find they're a lot more than normal. Now, a few years ago, when I was buying these guns, another strange thing is now that everybody's active and the panic's going on, everyone's trying to buy everything, these guns are still being manufactured. And if you give it some time and let them get caught up and wait for the craze to go down, they will drop down in price again. How I got these two Pietta 1858s is, I think it was Cabela's had a sale on them. And they were like $200 a piece, brand new in the box. So I bought one each at that price, okay? And they're fine guns. There's nothing wrong with them. You know, you can get a deal, all right? Now, when it goes to used guns, here's the thing. We got two up here. These two are no longer manufacturers. The Rogers and Spencers at the top. And again, if you want a Colt Patterson, they're no longer being made and they're extremely hard to find. Colt Pattersons, you know, you can say unfired, used, whatever. You know, this one didn't come with a box or none. You're looking for a standard blued model anywhere from $750 to well over $1,000 for a replica Patterson. Okay, same with the Rogers and Spencers. No longer manufactured, really nice gun. The Rogers and Spencers, when I bought that gun years ago, it was a little bit more pricier than, say, a Colt 1860. Made by, this Rogers and Spencers was made by Euro Arms. It was more, okay, it was more expensive. Much like the Star Repros, which in a Rock Island auction, they had a lot with the single action, the double action, new in the box. You know, they were made years ago. But I think they went for $700 to $800 a piece, and there were two in the lot, so it was like a $1,500 bid for the pair of them. Okay, you know, I don't know. To me, that's too expensive. But realistically, like a Rogers and Spencers, you're looking at $5,000. I've seen. And another thing, these gun broker auctions, you guys asking about used secondhand guns, I'd be very leery because you don't know if the auction is legit or fake. They start everything at a penny and somebody runs it up, and then I've seen several guns come up 4 or 5 times, you know, used guns. And look at the pictures closely, because a lot of these guns, they had the used ones, got some battering, been used, been beat up, abused a little. This one here I bought used. And I think all those years ago when I bought it, I can't remember how long ago, I paid $150 for this gun used, which I thought was a little bit too much at the time. That could have been 6, 8 years ago. Okay. It's a good gun. Now I'm working with it. But in the old days, the used market on these was abysmal. Okay, you couldn't sell these, even, you know, if they were new in the wrap, you may be able to get somebody interested in one, but if you had one without a box that, you know, you can see was used and somebody shot it, the resale on a used one of these, any black powder gun is real poor, unless you're selling it to reenactors and that need it for their kit. They're about the only people that'll give you some money for it. But just to sell it at a flea market or a normal gun show, these things do not, or did not at one time, sell very well. But now a gun like this, in this condition, I've seen people asking $350, close to $400. And then of course you get the ones that they put $650 on all of them, whether they're special or limited editions or not. You know, I mean, you have to be careful. You have to be aware of what they are realistically. Okay? Realistically, these two guns here, and I bought them recently, you know, you're somewhere in the $400 mark. Okay? People will charge you more. You could get lucky and find somebody that has one laying around the shop, and they might tell you, you know, still new in the box, didn't sell it, give me $3.50 or something. You may get a deal, but you're gonna have to look. You're gonna have to work at it. Okay. Will this change? Will the situation change? I don't know. Okay, but that's realistically what you're looking at price-wise. I would not recommend buying a used pistol for like $300 with no idea how much it's been used or what's been done to it, when for another $100 you can get a brand new gun that, you know, has a warranty and everything, and kind of got you covered, okay? Plus, there are features on the newer made guns that, like this one here, this loading port, you want to call it, or something in there, that's machined out. That'll take a conical bullet without any modification, and it has a Colt style ram. So this gun will shoot the conical bullets without no modification, and plus it does have the little stops on the cylinder, so you can carry it safely with 6 rounds loaded in there, okay? So to me, that's well worth it, all right? For, say, an extra $100, I don't have to carve this, grind in there, try to find spare parts, or swap out the RAM, you know. That's how you got to kind of look at it. And like I said, if you're patient, who knows, a year from now they could have these things on sale, you know, to where the price will drop down again. You know, you don't know. Okay, so again, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's like anything. Military surplus, new guns. All right, it's kind of like, you know, one time I remember an AK-47 sold for about $400, $450. I looked them up online today just to see. New ones that they have out there are $1,200, okay? Like when an individual asked me, you know, can I get a second-hand gun? You know, like I said, this thing here, I ended up paying $150 or something, or maybe $165 because I had to pay shipping or whatever, and I thought I paid too much for it. Okay, of course that was a while ago, and you know, trying to sell this, I couldn't sell it and get my money out of it. Okay, it all kind of comes down to, you know, is it worth it to you? Like I said, I wanted that one pistol, I wanted that model pistol. You know, somebody bought it last year but didn't shoot it, but I paid the guy, he probably made some money. But I think if you go to Dixie, yeah, they're $395. So even if they had it in stock, I paid basically the price that they had advertised for it. Okay, that's how you got to look at it. As far as bargains and deals, you may find somebody that isn't informed or just needs money and will sell you one of these at a reasonable price. Another thing with the economy now, all I can tell you is the price is going to go up no matter what. In other words, when new inventory does arrive, which it is, and you see it, it's like they come in, one model will come in a huge batch from the factory. And right now it's the 1848s without the RAM. There's a whole bunch of them coming in now. And like I said, there was some Dragoons, both the Whitneyville model, and now somebody has the one place that has them what I consider reasonable, which would be $50 to $60 less than, say, what Dixie Gunworks, we'll use that as a watermark, sells them for, has 5 of them listed on the gun broker. Okay, and if I was going to buy one, I would probably buy that and save myself some money in the long run, about $40, $50. So you gotta look at it, and it's just like anything in this panic, because the price has gone up on gasoline, on lumber, on anything and everything. Our economy is in a shambles, so it's difficult to say. I had these things and I spend my money on them, irregardless. Some people might think it's too much or whatever, because it's what I do to enjoy myself and relax. Okay. But if you want to go out and get the best buy you can, you will have to work at it, and you probably can come up with something a little bit better. But that's the general scope of it. Where to buy secondhand guns, I really haven't seen them at the gun show, because it's kind of a waste of table space. I've tried selling some of these replicas years ago, and you couldn't find them, but who knows now, okay? So, that's my spiel on the values and that. The only way you can look at it is, you know, if you bought them and take care of them, as the price goes up 5-10 years from now, you may be able to sell them for what you got in them. You know, you never know. But that's the long and short of what you'll be paying and how the current situation is. If you wait a while and allow the Italian companies to catch up, you will see more of them available from people offering them at a reasonable price instead of this ridiculous, because a lot of the ones on the gun broker, like I said, when they have a used gun and they're trying to get the same amount or like $20 less than a brand new gun, that's not a buy. Unless, like I said, unless, that's another strange thing, it's one of the unusual ones that are no longer manufactured. And you're going to find the prices up there. I guess there's a demand for it. So, all right.